Okay. Library. Where did they put the library? This castle looked a lot smaller from the outside.
I know, right?
And we'll make this castle.
Hey, every pony, welcome back to Pony Talk. Well, as you can see, I'm in a completely new location. Yeah, I figured the best way to get to the bottom of Twilight's castle is to actually explore it. And you know what I found out? I still have no idea how this place actually works. Honestly, when the Castle of Friendship, or whatever we're calling it, was first introduced, I didn't really think about it when I saw Celestia leading the main six into the throne room. Granted, that could be because we spent so little time with it, but still, it seemed like a normal castle to me. And in the Season 5 premiere, I didn't give it much thought either, because again, we didn't spend much time there. It wasn't until Castle Sweet Castle where I started having a problem with it, and that was right about here.
Yeah, this place has everything. Big, tall ceilings that make you feel tiny. Shiny new floors that are cold to the touch. And it even has long, empty hallways. Okay, I get it.
It was that long, empty hallways remark that made me sit back and think, how does all that fit in here? Because when you look at it from the outside, it's just a tree. Granted, a large, crystalline tree, it's still a tree though. And none of these hallways are made to look like they fit in a tree. Granted, they've improved that this season by making at least some of the hallways rounded, so they look like part of a tree stump, but still, some of this doesn't add up. I mean, go back and look at Golden Oak's library. No, before that. Back when it was whole. It was a tree, and Twilight lived there, but the interior you could see where it kind of fit the exterior. But this thing is all over the place. There really is no other way to put it other than it is bigger on the inside. And yes, I know that's a cliche joke at this point, but it really does fit. To the point where I think that's worth exploring beyond just a simple joke. Now, hear me out, we have a Doctor Who's in this universe, and Peter New said that in Slice of Life, he played that character as if he was the Doctor. So, let's follow that train of thought a little bit, and yes, this is totally headcanon, but I'm going with it. So let's say at some point in the future, or the past, or the present, who can say, the Doctor finds himself wrapped up in one of those universe-ending catastrophes he always a part of. He does his doctory thing and saves the universe, but in the course of it, the seemingly impossible happens, and a rip is opened into another universe, and the TARDIS falls through it. And of course going through time as well as dimensions. At this point, both the Doctor and the TARDIS are heavily damaged, to the point where the Doctor is about to regenerate. Somehow he gets thrown out of the TARDIS and lands in a part of Equestria, and instinctually his body knows to regenerate as a pony, perhaps as a foal. The shock of all of this causes him to lose his memory, which wouldn't be the first time that's happened. But some part of him knows that something's off, something's wrong, and he's trying to make sense of the world around him as best he can. That could probably explain this bit.
I've been studying science my whole life. Ever since a particularly traumatic experience as a foe, I've been looking for ways to make sense of the world around me. Science provides explanations of things we never thought possible.
And of course, why he's so obsessed with time.
Going back in time is old thinking, my friend. I was working off a cutting-edge theory of making time come forward to you. Twilight's work, decades, centuries really, of research and experimentation, and I really had it cracked. Turns out there's a magic spell for it.
The telling part in that bit, of course, is the whole centuries line, which proved he is very long-lived. And at this point, maybe even he doesn't know why, and thus why he's trying to make sense of the world through science. So that could cover the Doctor, but what about the TARDIS? Well, I see it falling even further back in time to around the time when Equestria was founded, maybe a little before then. And all this bumping around and stuff made the chameleon circuit actually work one more time, so it takes on the appearance of a tree. Why a tree? Well, maybe at the time that was the only thing around it solid to camouflage itself as. Or maybe reasons. Whatever the case may be, it is now a crystalline looking tree. And it still has enough power and sentience to know that this world is also going to need protecting. But since the Doctor's not around, it's got to figure out something else, so it taps into the Eye of Harmony to make the Elements of Harmony. The Tree of Harmony name probably came about from the Equestrians at that time. So that ensures that this world will have protectors for generations to come. That might also explain why Twilight's cutie mark was at the center of the tree, because it knew that Twilight and her friends would be the most important protectors Equestria had. And what better thing to see through all of time and space than the TARDIS itself? Then, of course, the Season 4 premiere happened, where Twilight and her friends had to give up the Elements of Harmony back to the tree so they could stop the vines from the ever-free forest. And what did it leave behind? An octagonal box that needs 6 keys to open it. Sound a bit familiar? And when they finally did open it, what happened? New powers came out to help them protect Equestria again in a flash of light. Oh, and of course, this. Yep, this whole new castle here literally grew out of the ground. Hey, you know what else can grow? A TARDIS, as evidenced by this scene.
This universe is in need of defending. Chunk of TARDIS. Grow your own. That takes thousands of years. No, because...
If you shatter-fry the plasmic shell and modify the dimensional stabilizer to a foldback harmonic of 36.3, you accelerate the growth power by 59.
Okay, granted, that's a deleted scene, but Russell T. Davies says he still considers that canon. And take away all the science mumbo-jumbo and replace it with magic mumbo-jumbo, and boom! TARDIS Castle. Oh, and the throne room, with all the main 6's cutie marks on the chairs, proves that the TARDIS has accepted them as its new controller? Or controllers, rather. Or whatever it's called. It's obviously not a pilot, but still, they're connected to it. Oh, and bonus points for me, this could back my theory that the elements have some kind of sentience behind them. And also an explanation of why the cutie map could still exist when time was getting all messed up during Starlight's rampage. So yeah, this castle being the remade TARDIS actually makes a lot of sense. But of course, I do know that is just my own fan theory headcanon. I could be entirely wrong about all this, and maybe someday the writers will actually explain more of how all of this works. But until then, that's the theory I'm going with. But what about you guys? What are your theories on how this castle works inside and out? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really interested to get a dialogue going about this thing. And speaking of this place and its bigness, I have been looking for a new stage to do these videos on. Something a little less crowded than the place up in Cloudsdale, and there's a lot of space here. Well, why not? Oh please, this place is so big I can easily avoid them. And I have always wanted to live in a castle. Well, I mean, I would go with the Castle of the Two Sisters, but Silverquill's already claimed that. And I'm pretty sure I saw a Castle Freak in there at one point. Meh, references. And going to the Crystal Empire is just way too much of a hassle. So, yeah, I think I'm moving in here. I don't think any pony uses this hallway, and I can always relocate somewhere else in the castle if I need to anyway. Plus, there's so much room for activities now. I mean, I still gotta go get some stuff to move in here officially, but yeah, let's do this. Let's have some fun in this castle. So what is gonna be the first episode to kick off the fun, exciting castle era of Pony Talk? Oh. Well, that's just bad timing.